Hello, hello. It's me, Arden Lee, and I am here this evening with Michael Author, who is a transformational sorcerer, a colleague of mine. And that's such a bizarre and wonderful way to introduce a person, that you are a transformational sorcerer. So first of all, tell me what that means. Tell everyone what that means a little bit.
Well, basically what it means is I read too many fantasy novels as a child.
Same.
Right. No, so what it means is that there's there's a feeling in the process of when you want to step into being that person that you know that you can be, but it feels like you have to just summon this wellspring of passion and power within you, and that's why I chose that title of sorcerer, because that's what I did with myself, and that's what I help others to achieve within themselves as well.
And that's awesome. And that so goes along with what we're going to be talking about today. And if you don't know already, I am Arden Lee. I'm the creator of the Repatterning Project. And that is a space where we optimize our beliefs for the best possible chances of happiness and success. So, what you're talking about having that wellspring of power rise within you in order to create transformational results in the world is exactly what I do in my in my groups and in my project as well. Because what we're doing is we're talking about accessing our beliefs and all that places, all those places where our thoughts lie, where our, we have our self-talk, we have the things that we believe about ourselves, and we go into that wellspring, which is exactly what you're talking about, that power within, and we change that from the inside out so that people start getting their own results in their own lives, almost immediately sometimes, as soon as you change the layer of that onion. So even though you might be describing your work in a much more fantasy novel oriented way, I think that we're doing work that's quite similar.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we decided what we wanted to talk about today was Michael and I were just kind of co-working on our different projects today, and since I've been posting videos more often, I thought, what a great opportunity. Here I have a transformational sorcerer hanging out co-working at my house today. Why wouldn't I ask him to come on and make a video where he could talk to everyone about something that he feels passionate about? And what we decided to talk about today was changing our relationship to our appearance, and the way that changing the way we think about ourselves can change the way that we present ourselves. And if we change the way we present ourselves, it can change the way that the feedback that people give us about ourselves. And when that feedback that people give us about ourselves changes, it also changes the way that we think about ourselves. And it creates this spiral that can either be an upward or a downward spiral depending on our own conscious choices. So tell me why that's something that you felt particularly passionate about.
Well, I felt very passionate about that because it's been the one area of my experience that has probably gone through the most radical change over the course of my life. Actually, I don't know. There's been a lot of things that have gone through radical change, but this one in particular has been something that I've been focusing on recently. I found that earlier in my life, I lacked confidence. I lacked a feeling of self-worth, and just that I was even worthy of having what I wanted in life, what I wanted in a relationship, what I wanted from my career, all these sorts of things. I just didn't believe in it. And one of the avenues by which I began to shift that is through my appearance. So I used to dress very basically. I didn't think very much about my appearance, and I would say that nobody was particularly impressed by it. I wasn't even particularly impressed by my own appearance. And so there was a certain time when I decided, all right, I'm going to stand out. I'm going to make a splash or a statement with my appearance. And I had judged everyone who did that as being vain, being too obsessed with themselves, being narcissistic, or otherwise, I would make some sort of judgment about why I was better than them morally, right? And what it really said about me is that I didn't believe that I was worthy of having that sort of presence, that sort of impact in the world. And so I made some rather drastic decisions. I decided.
One of them's on your chest, right?
Yes, one of them is on my chest. It's a tattoo of the Sacred Heart replaced with an unalome here, and this. Let's see, where's your camera there? Yeah, these are all things that say that symbolize my commitment to never work a normal job again. Right?
Yeah.
Which is actually part of the intention of why I got them. But
yes. It's like burn your ships, where you run your ships
Yeah.
aground, you burn your ships so you can't go back.
Exactly. So, and this is how all appearance changes work, in that when you change that appearance, then even when you look in the mirror, you're reminded of that choice, right? Every time I look down at my hand, I'm reminded of this creed, right? To know, to dare, to want, to be silent, along with the tarot, right? I'm reminded of it every single time I look at myself, and that anchors in my my intention, which I understand you do some work with that as well, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The power of intention setting is one of the basic foundations to the work that I do. And what I love about what Michael is describing is that he's given himself these reminders just on a daily basis of who he is, but it's not just who you are, it's actually who you're choosing to be.
Right, and this is the best example, because if I say I'm in a relationship and I get angry, I get mad, right, and I'm like, I just want to be like, you fucking bitch, how can you do that, right? I just think like, whoa, wait a minute, like, if I'm a dude with a heart tattooed on his chest being an asshole, like, why did I even go through that 12 hours to begin with?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I love that too, and that's so much of the work that I did on myself as well. Was I had to really believe that I was desirable, because and this is from the days when I was a pickup artist as well. I really believed that that I was being passed over, that I was, unremarkable, that, for whatever reason, and it's funny, it's not like I dressed like super basic or whatever. I was just kind of like, I guess the way that I dressed was a little offbeat, and it was always like I wasn't quite in on the joke, So when I decided to make myself, I was very quirky, but it wasn't like, it was like before the days of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl. I was like, I wasn't like cool quirky, I was just like weird drama geek quirky, and everyone was just like, we don't know what level you're on, or
like Daria
or
something.
Like not even as cool as Daria.
Oh,
like I
okay.
wasn't even cool enough to watch Daria. I was like, I was listening to like Sondheim musicals. And,
Oh, awesome! Okay, yeah.
Like I think I had a T-shirt in high school that said Diva on it, and people thought that like. People were like, "What, are you just like a really pale black person?" And I'm like, "No, I study opera." I just I didn't get So long story short, I made myself over, and I took on these very distinct signifiers of attractiveness. I used to wear red. I still wear a lot of red. But wearing red specifically for me was about becoming like the lady in red, like the person who is the object of desire. And the lingerie that I wore, the loungewear, which I used to go out in my lingerie sometimes, or I did all these photo shoots of me and these boudoir like lingerie and flowy robes and stuff like that, which was to put out there and to signify like, no, I'm taking on the mantle of attractiveness. And I think what's interesting too is that in recent years it's I've stopped trying so hard, because it feels like it just kind of assimilated, and that I found the natural attractiveness that maybe I always had, that maybe in the past I was sort of bypassing or avoiding by being quirky, because I didn't, I don't know, it's like I don't know necessarily why I did that, but now I know I can dress much more simply, and it's still really important to me to be elegant, and to, I've kept certain things, but it's like, I no longer do like the corsets and the garters and the whole 9 yards, because I want to look more organic, and I want to believe that the people who find me attractive don't have to be convinced that I am so. So now I'm, it's like I'm hanging out with Michael today, and I'm wearing a tank top and some like really comfortable jersey pants, and I still feel attractive because it's still flattering to my shape or whatever, but I also feel really comfortable, which is important to me right now.
Right, and the other thing that I would say is that it only takes one experience of something to shift that for you. So if you're like, I don't feel attractive, I don't feel desired, right? And then you go out and you're wearing sweatpants and your shoulders are stooped and all this stuff, like, you're just gonna keep being, I'm not attractive, nobody likes me, right? And then,
Yeah,
but
it can
then
snowball.
right, and so then you make that decision. All right, I am going to go all out for like a week, and I'm going to really care about my appearance, and I'm gonna go out there, and then with that intention of focusing on my attractiveness, and you create the experience of people responding to you with a whoa, then you have that experience. That's in you, and you get to live with that for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you can change, you can decide, you can
Mhm.
choose to turn around the direction of that spiral.
Absolutely.
It's again, it's like a continuous feedback loop. If I go out and, I don't feel good about myself, and someone maybe makes a nasty comment about my appearance or something, it's like, if I listen to what all the incels said about me on my videos, like
Yeah.
I'd spiral downwards. But I'm
Mhm.
just, I choose not to align with that energy. I choose to present myself in a way that I feel great about, and that that I get that response from other people, and it just feels better and better and better. And I think one of the things that is so amazing about the work that Michael has done, and maybe some of the work that I did, when I was consciously making those choices, is how much people love to look at us when we're in our after phase and be like, well, yeah, but you're XYZ, or you have this going for you, or you whatever,
Yeah,
and it's
right.
like you're always seeing the after and never the before. So
Mhm.
so it's really, I really encourage you, if you're having that reaction during this video and being like, yeah, but you both are attractive people, and Michael's jawline, the lower third of his face is the golden ratio. That means he's not a beta cuck, or whatever it is. It's really silly. I wanna just really emphasize to you how much of these things are under your control. And I branded myself as a lingerie model out of nothing. I didn't have my lingerie modeling career was a joke. Like, I didn't have an agency. I was really too old to be, it's, and when I say too old, it's like, if you're looking to get in a modeling agency, like, you better be like 18, if not younger, so it is what it is. But but I really built that up from scratch. I had a friend who was a designer, and I was like, hey, she's like, an indie brand, they didn't have the budget of Victoria's Secret, and I was just like, hey, I'd love to model for you sometime. And she was like, yeah, you'd be great, or whatever. And sure, I have certain proportions, I fit into sample sizes, but what you're finding today is that more and more you're having more and more brands who actually need diversity. So they're really, of body types, of skin types, of all kinds of appearances. People who are disabled who are doing modeling campaigns now. So even though it once was true that maybe you did have to have some sort of genetics about you, you really don't anymore, in order to brand yourself as someone who is cool and hip and attractive. And even then it wasn't that true either, because there were still ways of working within your confines to be representative of who you are, without having to drastically change yourself, and still create something that's charismatic and attractive.
Oh, absolutely. I have about zero patience for the people who think that attractiveness and genetics are like the same thing. Really the most attractive thing is self-ownership and confidence, and there are ways to make oneself compelling, no matter what genes you're born with. And so if you're telling yourself a story that you can't, you're wrong. You're just wrong.
We invite you to repattern that belief.
Yeah, or say it all nice.
I'm gonna be the good cop today. Just usually different. Usually those roles are reversed with us. but yeah, if you believe right now that you don't have it in you to be attractive, just know that you're making that choice to go on that downward spiral. And if you have the opportunity right now, in this moment, immediately right now, as you're watching this video, to choose, what, maybe what they're saying might work, and maybe I'm going to put myself out there, and I'm going to present myself in a way that I didn't think before that I could pull off. But I'm just going to go for it, and I'm going to go out to a club, or I'm going to go out and I'm just going to see how the world responds to me. And importantly, I'm going to be open to looking for that positive feedback. I'm not going to get 10 compliments in one night and one person shit talking me and decide to listen to the one shit talker, because
Right.
that's also choosing to go back down on that downward spiral.
Mhm.
I'm going to go out and I'm going to look for the feedback that people are saying, hey man, nice jacket, or that whatever that crazy thing is that you want to wear that you feel is your own, is representative of you. Look for that upward spiral, because again, our realities exist so much within our own mind frame, so you have to look for the things that are going to add to that experience for you and bring you up.
Absolutely, I love that. The choosing to what you're gonna look for in your experience. I think you use scry everything, right?
Oh, yeah.
Scry everything for the stuff you want to be seeing. I don't know.
yeah, exactly. Look for that. You want to hack your confirmation bias ultimately, because if you're a practitioner of the law of attraction, or you believe in it a little bit, or you're like, oh, I read The Secret once or whatever, it's essentially all about hacking your confirmation bias, and that you're going to attract or at least see more and more of what you believe already. So if you're steeped in some really deep beliefs about being unattractive, like as deep as you're steeped is probably as much work as you're going to have to do to undo that, but you'd be surprised how quickly that goes when you really start looking for the evidence of the things that you want to see.
And one of the best tools that you can have is to make a radical choice about your appearance, and not like, that is the thing that's really, that is really gonna help your confidence more than anything. My next radical change is gonna be shaving my head, but that's gonna be a while.
Nice.
That's gonna be a while.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, this has been an awesome chat. Will you tell everyone where they can find you?
Yes, absolutely. So you can find me at michaelauthor.com. You can also go to, if it's easier for you, WTFDYW.com. What the fuck do you want? The acronym, the initials for it. And I'll see you guys around. Thank you so much for having me on, Arden.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. This has been a great conversation. And remember also, if you're interested in learning more about the repatterning project, you can go to the description box below and download your free guide about what the fuck is repatterning? Why the fuck do I want to repattern myself? And,
exactly, yes. Everything is more compelling. You understand, there's research that shows that they are 23% more likely to go and check out your site if you use the F word with it.
Well, fuck.
Yes.
And you can also join our free Facebook group, the Repatterning Parlor. Link is in the description box. Thank you guys for hanging out today and listening to the two of us talk, and I will see you next time.